Hey, we're here with Grant Anderson, who's Vice President of Engineering for Paragon Space Development Corporation, and explain a little bit about what Paragon does.
Paragon Corporation is a premier provider of environmental control and life support in extreme environments. We do everything from Navy diving systems to spacecraft life support systems.
Right. What sort of projects are you working on right now?
Well, we have sort of near-term, mid-term, and long-term projects. I'll start at the long-term. We're doing a lot of contract engineering with contract R&D with NASA, looking at life support technologies as they relate to long-duration missions, whether they're to NEO or to Mars, ways to regenerate and close the life support system, loop. There in the midterm, of course, we're always positioning ourselves with the emerging commercial space market, working to make sure that when you fly to space or your kids fly to space, that they'll look up and they'll see your life support system provided by Paragon Space Development Corporation on the bulkhead of the spacecraft you're flying in.
Right.
In the near term, our existing contracts, of course, we're on Orion, on Lockheed's team. We're working the spacesuits with Oceaneering, doing the thermal integration and some of the hardware on that. And then we have a bunch of commercial contracts. Of course, our big semi-commercial is the CCDEV, the Commercial Crew Development Program with NASA, where we're building a turnkey life support system for spacecraft.
You get funding for that earlier this year under the CCDEV program.
Yeah, we were awarded that contract in early February of this year. It's a fast-paced contract. It ends in December. The funding from NASA is $1.4 million, and we have a large amount of IR&D that's added on top of that. It's milestone-based. They pay us by milestone. The milestone 3 was PDR. We did that in July. Milestone 4 is the finish of the build of the engineering development unit, and that's going to be done. And the milestone review is going to be in November, and then our final review is in December, which is the actual test of the function of the system.
So is that on schedule?
It's on schedule. There's some latitude in schedule. When we laid out the milestones, there was really a plus or minus on all of them, and we stayed within those bounds for sure. It's been definitely because it's such a fast-paced program, it's been something we've had to watch every single day. I have a weekly meeting with the team on the schedule of where we are, what our objectives are for the week.
What are you guys thinking about the CCDEV expansion and NASA's general approach to things in the future?
Well, CCDEV, what we're now calling CCDEV 1, because it looks like there's going to be a CCDEV 2. CCDEV 1 was concentrating a very little amount of money, $50 million, and it ended up going to 5 different groups. CCDEV 2 is an expansion. It's part of the new policy and the new signature from Obama a few weeks ago. We see that as providing more opportunities for NASA to again foster the commercial industry without necessarily being the dictator of requirements.
Right.
We see some trends as far as from the conference they had last week down in Houston. They're definitely looking more at systems. We were a subsystem provider for CCDEV 1. We're not sure whether that's going to continue into CCDEV 2, whether they're going to fund subsystems or whether it's going to be all systems.
Okay.
Naturally, we'd love to see both in a good, healthy mix of the two.
And tell me a little bit more about Paragon. How big is it? How fast has it been growing? And where do you see it in the future?
The Paragon, we've actually hit the Inc. 5000 list for the 3rd year in a row. That's the fastest growing private companies in the United States. Of all companies in the United States, we're about 1,100 or so. Of engineering companies, we're in the top 9, top 10. And as far as aerospace companies goes, we're the fastest growing aerospace company in the United States. We've seen over 50% growth for 5 years running.
And your headquarters is in Tucson. Do you have offices elsewhere?
Yeah, our main headquarters and corporate offices are in Tucson, Arizona. We have an office in Houston. We have a large presence in Denver because of the Orion program, and then an office in Washington, D.C.
Okay. Anything else you wanted to add?
Well, I mean, I think it's exciting times right now for your readers in the commercial space world. I think There's going to be some new developments almost monthly from here for the next 2 or 3 years, especially as we see how the commercial initiatives coming out of the NASA budget and stuff, how they play out and how they manifest themselves in real programs. I think it's a make and break time for 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 of the systems providers, the SpaceX's and Boeing's and Orbitals and Blue Origins and those guys. I think it's going to be make or break over the next few years as far as whether they stay as a player or whether other players come up in that time frame.
Okay, well, thank you very much. This has been Grant Anderson from Paragon Space Development Corporation. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Thanks.